Hey guys, what's up? It's been a long time, and I hope it was worth the wait because I have what I think is a truly unique and special mod. It's not even a mod, this is just a fully custom designed and built blaster. This is the MHP 15, which is a mag in the handle SMG that uses Katana mags from jet blasters. I have uploaded all of the files to Thingiverse so you can print your own and assemble it totally free. I'm going to continue to try and support it and improve the design. This is my first real prototype print. It's not super high quality. I can't in good conscience sell these if I print them because the quality is so inferior to what I want. But it is like, it works even with my inferior print quality. It has a nice big orange barrel that comes off. This is just an attachment. The actual barrel is 1-inch outer diameter piping or tubing. This is an ABS pipe that was like 50 cents at Home Depot that I cut down. So there's not very much drag on the darts, if any. It has a Picatinny rail on the top built in, designed in. There's rear iron sights that are removable. There's a jam door that is actuated. I've put it on a spring, but you wouldn't have to. And it's actually a printable part now, which I don't have on here. Again, this was like my prototype, so the jam door is a prototype too. When I had my jams, it actually was the magazines. I think Jet has done some amazing work with these, but sometimes the followers will catch about here, and they have no lubricant at all, so they're just bone dry. I pulled mine apart. I had 3 out of 5 that had this problem, it turned out. I just pulled them apart, you unscrew them, pull it apart, and I sanded around the circular part on the follower and these bridges inside. And that fixed it. Now they feed great without lubricant. I am intending to eventually get some graphite powder and lubricate them. I've heard graphite powder is the best for magazines since it's a powder, it's dry, it won't collect dirt. This is the mag release, which is just actuated by pulling down. It's a lever that goes like this, and so when you pull it, it pulls the mag release out about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch, and that's all it takes. But it's really sturdy. I've never dropped a mag without pressing the release. The whole thing is on one single switch, so that's 3 motors running every time you pull the trigger, and all 3 have motor braking, so it's really battery intensive, especially because the battery that fits in it, as I've designed it, is pretty low capacity, so you might have to have 2 for a longer game if you say you were playing HVZ or something. The stock is not printed. This is a custom built by me with an MP9 airsoft stock. I had to add foam in the back to get it to hold steady, but you can use any stock. I'd recommend long ones. The mag and handle configuration gives it kind of a weird length for holding. Because of that, it kind of has a weird profile. The motor cover is also unfinished. Again, this was my prototype, so I'm actually having my friend Derek print another copy for me that will be much nicer and will probably be the real finished one that I use. I also made a folding grip that is not on this version. I'm torn on it because it's really comfortable when it's out, but when it's folded up, I don't like holding it all. This is, at least for me, this is essentially perfect ergonomics. It fits in my hand exactly how I want it to. So it's kind of hard to justify using a grip that's less comfortable. Even when it's folded out, I'm not sure I like it more. This stock does actually fold and lock into the motor cover. I did a commission for my friend, and he had single tube worker stock, a lot like this one, that is also collapsible and foldable, and it actually fits great on this. It is, I'll find a link for it, or a picture maybe, put it up. It's probably my main recommendation for what's gonna be good for this if you want a stock. And that kind of brings me to one of the things about this. It's not really a secondary. I know the first thought everyone's had is flywheel secondary or dual wielding, and both are possible, but it's big. It is very big. To compare, It's about the same length as a Strife, but it's actually a bit longer, especially with the barrel. The muzzle is pretty long. I don't think that'll really get in the way for like a secondary, but it's pretty big. It's kind of too big to use as a secondary, especially if you like shorter, smaller. When I'm using a secondary, I want something pretty compact, like a hammer shot, or better yet, a Sweet Revenge, even more compact. Like the Kronos it's a really good sidearm, but it's pretty big. This is even more so. You could, I guess, cut off this slip guard here, get a holster for it, like maybe an MP7 holster, but I don't know that that would be the best. As far as the design goes, I modeled it off of an MP9, an MP7, and Sombra's machine pistol in Overwatch. I was totally intending to make this just the Overwatch gun, but I kind of changed direction midway and said, well, because of the requirements for space and sizing, it was looking more like an MP7 anyway, so I just went for that. I love MP7, so it's not like that's a loss for me. There's also a Mac 10 variant that I have released on Thingiverse, but I have not printed it, so I don't know. Internally, it is the same, so it should be good, but I haven't used it. I don't have one. I hope to fix that at some point. I also did have to sand and fill and file down the handle a little bit. The comfort is a little lacking compared to where I want it to be, but you know, considering that a magazine goes in there, I think it's pretty good. The mags will also just drop when released. There's not a ton of friction in here, which is pretty cool. So you can reload fast. If you don't mind ditching your mags just on the ground, you could reload extra fast with this. And that's pretty cool. Internally, it uses an open flywheel cage, a printed pusher from Kitsune 105. I think that's it. So the link is there. I'll put it in here too, because it had to be shorter. I have my Riot cage in here, and that's going to be transferred to my new one, and Riot wheels and Neo Rhinos. This setup actually doesn't shoot quite as well. I found that black worker wheels, a 41.5 cage, and Neo Rhinos was the best setup. I was getting, it was just crazy, the range I was getting. It was at least like, I think around 100 feet with like no angle. And it shoots fast, and it's just nice. I don't love the motor braking, but just everything being on one trigger pull. So all you do is you just pull the trigger and it shoots. It's really intuitive. It's pretty compact, so if you like playing CQB, this is a great choice, especially without the stock. I mean, what can I say? I'm really proud of this. This is the most that I've put into a project. I don't even know, it's probably 100, 200 hours of modeling and refining. It has more of me than anything I've ever done. And that's really saying something, because this thing is so fun to use. It is a blast. It shoots fast, it shoots nice, it's really easy to use. It's comfortable. Like, I'm surprised that the comfort is as good as it is, considering how big the handle is, you know, all of that. But it really is, like, it might be my favorite, and that's saying a lot, because that shotgun is so fun to use and is so cool. As far as the paint goes, I guess I should have talked about that sooner, but whatever. I could not decide on a paint job for this, so I ended up going for something I've never done, which is a Borderlands style. It works with the lower print quality because the lines are shaky and stuff. And the lines, it looks really cool. It's kind of trippy. And I might do this again sometime. Originally, I was going to do a pink one, like my third ACR, kind of. And I didn't like how that went. And then I did a green fade with green and yellow, but the colors were kind of wrong. And so it was a little dark too for like playing out in public. This has a very real steel profile, more than most Nerf blasters. Not necessarily more than something like, say, an Exodus 2 or a Sita, but those are also like a third party. They're brightly colored, or, well, I guess the Exodus isn't, but I don't know. They don't look exactly like a real gun does, where this is modeled very closely off of an MP7. If you painted it black, who would know? You know, you couldn't tell. So I wanted to go with something a little brighter. I tried to match the paint scheme to my break action hammer shot because they would run well together, both using half darts. I have an underarm holster that I've set up to hold Katana mags. I can hold 8 in that rig, and it's really lightweight, but also I can hold my hammer shot, so it's like a primary secondary setup. And I didn't like it. It looked wrong. It looked boring. It didn't have enough detail. I was playing around with the lines, and I ended up liking it so much that I just went to town with it. Went all the way. I added weathering. I added some grungy details like on color and stuff, some browns and yellows and reds, a little bit subtly. Added some dirt. I don't know. So it ended up being like really nice that way. I really like it. For those who have one already, because some people have been printing them, the battery goes in here. You unscrew these 2 holes and then pull off the silencer, and this will slide off. If you have the foregrip, you have to drill some holes in here, and those may drill into here for the proper length of folding, and then you'll have to undo 4 screws instead of 2. It's not what I wanted. Originally I wanted to do magnets, but this is way more secure, but this is really secure. It's really easy. Everything prints right, so it's kind of like a trade-off for the ease of use. I'm excited to see what other people are going to do with this, and I'm hoping it's a good platform for more mods. I might make more custom blasters. I might make more 3D printed platforms in the future. I enjoyed this so much, but I think it was worth it. This is a one of a kind. I know for a fact other people have been working on designs like this, but I also know I was the first to get there. Not to say that it's the best by any means. I don't think that it is, but I'm quite proud that I managed to make something that didn't exist before. This is completely new. There is nothing like it in the whole hobby yet. And I'm hoping, other people might take my design and rework it or revise it or make it better, and I'd love to see that. And if you guys decide you want to print one or buy one and assemble one, please share pictures with me. I would love to see them. It is, every time I've seen someone print one, it has made me extremely happy. It's so cool. Like, it's amazing to see your work in other people's hands. And I know some people have had some problems, and I am sorry. I'm really new to 3D modeling. I don't have the skill, I just have the ambition. I think that about covers it. Again, firing at the end. Thanks for watching, guys. Come on. Say it, Ellie. Say thanks for watching. Okay. Alright, this isn't the best conditions. It is windy. It is kind of laid out, but we'll do a shooting. Yes, it is. That house over there is about 100 to 120 feet away. Okay, still got 4 shots. That's pretty good. You're gonna run away. Alright, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna shoot at the camera. Do I want what? Do you want to run that way? Okay. She's running away. Boink.